Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We have been talking about the people from Hind and Sindh in Arabia, as how these people were living in this region for hundreds of years, even before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why at the time of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, these people were found in such a massive number. And these people were used in different jobs even afterwards, as they were extremely valuable assets in one way or the other. And some of them took an evil route, as we learned about in the history of Jats when we were here last time, or Zut as they're called in Arabic. Today, we'll talk about the next two, which are Maid and Sayabjah. I gave you the brief information about Maid and Sayabjah. We'll go a little bit deeper into Sayabjah today, and we'll give you a little bit more information about Maid as well. As I've told you last time, that Maid are also considered to be one of the people who moved into the Arabian Peninsula from India or Sindh region, and the main reason of them coming to this region was not one but two. There are two kinds of Maid who were settled in the Arabian Peninsula. One kind of Maid were those people who are recruited by the Persian army, and some of them actually traveled as high as becoming an officer in the Persian army, and they were serving under the Persian army in different parts of the Arabian Peninsula or different parts of the Persia, as they were participating very actively in the conquests. And also these people, some of them who came to the Arabian Peninsula, who did not make their way into the Persian army, started settling here in search for food. But of course, they didn't have much luck. So what they started doing, they went into the business of becoming the dacoits, the pirates, and they started looting the ships, the trade ships, as they were moving back and forth into the Arabian Peninsula. So these were the two kind of things that we would find Maid doing in the pre-Islamic era. Either they were part of the Persian army, or they were involved in destroying the trade routes, especially the sea trade routes. And these people were originally from the Sindh and the Balochistan region, which are the two regions in Pakistan, as some of the kings in those regions were extremely obliged towards the Persian emperors, and some of these regions who went against the Persian emperor at some point in time in the history, they were crushed by the Persians, and the people who were native to these regions were brought into the Persian Empire as prisoners, and over the period of time, their descendants or they themselves started serving in the Persian army. The second set of people who are part of those kingdoms who are obliged towards the Persian kings or emperor, they would send people into the Persian army, and they would be recruited to fight in the Persian army. So this is another reason of the existence of not just Maid, but also of Zut, who are called Jat. Okay, now moving forward to the Sayabjah. It is very difficult it was very difficult for the Arab historians to pinpoint who exactly are these people who are called Sayabjah in Arabic, and where exactly did they come from, or what is their name in their native language or Sanskrit in the Hind and the Sindh region. And also there is differences of opinion among the historians. Some people have called them as Sayabjah, and others have called them as Sayabjah. So Sayabjah and Sayabjah. For example, Baladri in Futuh al-Buldan and Ibn Khaldun in his Tarikh, in his history, he wrote them as Sayabjah. And then it's also in the Rijal al-Sindhi wal-Hind, that means the people from the Sindh and the Hind. So some historians have taken the account of writing them as Sayabjah, and some, like Ibn Faqih Hamdani in his book Al-Buldan, and Ibn Durayd in Jamhara al-Lugha, and Ibn Mandur Afriqi in Lisan al-Arab has given them the name Sayabjah. And also the reason of giving them this name is also very, very unclear. Some people have come to this conclusion that this word Sayabjah in Arabic means a blanket. It's a wool blanket that is black in color. Now, were these people using a woolen blanket that was black in color? Not necessarily, because they could not be using that kind of a blanket in Arabian Peninsula. It's because of the weather conditions. So what could be the reason? So now there are two different consensus made by the historians. Some say that because these people would be attacking the Arab ships, the Arab boats on the trade routes, and they were settled along the coastal lines, and they were the pirates. So they adopted a kind of a clothing that would keep them warm all year round. Especially nights are cooler in the desert. So they started wearing this special kind of a black color coat that looked like a blanket. So some people are of the view that that might be the reason that these people were called that for that reason. Or it might have been that their uniform was of the form that was given to them by the Persians. It is quite possible that could have been. In Lisan al-Arab, when it talks about the Sayabjah, it says that the Sayabjah from the Sindh and Hind are a people who are extremely strong and very brave. These people usually are found in the coastal areas, and some of them are hired to fight the pirates. So probably earlier on, Arabs and Persians decided that, well, if people of the same kind are pirates, let's hire the other people of the same kind to fight them, because they will be able to fight their own people much better because they know their tactics and some of the other details, and they wouldn't have to then utilize their own resources. Also, these people were not hired on high wages. These people are hired on very low wages. So that could be another reason that these were employed, as written by Lisan al-Arab, that these people were hired to fight the pirates. And Sayabjah are mainly from Sindh Hind region, and these people are strong and they have a big structure, and they would also be hired as guards on the ships and the boats, as they would be used on the trade routes. So some of them found employment through this way as well. And also in al-Lughat, it also says that Sayabjah are people from Sindh who were settled in Basra. Now it uses the word Basra, that means it is talking about at least the time of Umar radiallahu anhu and afterwards, because prior to that, these people were not in Basra, because Basra was not even in existence so they probably might have been in Abla, they might have been in Qatar, they might have been in Bahrain, in Oman, and other parts of Iran or Persia, and over the period of time, as many other Indian tribes as we learn, or the Sindhi tribes as we learn, like Zut, they were settled in Basra. So might have been these people, and we will talk a little bit about that as well today, so you'll have more ideas. So in al-Lughat, Johri writes it, that Sayabjah قوم من سند كانوا بالبصرة, and they were in the Basra, and they were responsible as their job was the job of the guards in the prison. So they were guards in prison. I mean, so that itself shows you that these people were extraordinarily strong, big, and that's why they were used in those kind of positions. According to Ibn Durayd in Jamharat al-Lugha, he writes Sayabjah قوم من الهند يستأجرون, these are the people that are from India, this is the people, and they would be hired يستأجرون للقتال في السفن. These people were hired as guards to take care of the ships, as trade ships which travel through the Persian Gulf and some of those regions. And Ibn Faqih Hamdani in Kitab al-Buldan وعلوج Sind al-Sayabjah, the Sindh's ruler were Sayabjah, and these were basically from that particular region. And then Al-Munjad made one mistake that is also mentioned by historians, that in Al-Munjad it has been made this mistake that these people, Sayabjah, have been linked to Indonesia, which is totally wrong. That's why historians have completely denied this, that these people could no way be related to Sumatra in Indonesia, and that probably is a mistake done by the historians who have gone that route. And how did Sayabjah made their way into Iran? So before they entered the Arabian Peninsula, of course, they entered Iran. As I told you, that these kings of the Sindh and Hind had close relationships with the emperors of Iran, and also emperors of Iran had several times crushed the people in this region and had brought a lot of prisoners of war with them. So one of the things that we find by Abu al-Faraj Qudama bin Ja'far Baghdadi in Kitab al-Khiraj wa Sana'at al-Kitaba, in which he writes that during the time of Anushirwan bin Qubad, he established, or he created, 3 settlements or 3 cities. One of them was Shabran, another one was Masqat, and another one was Babul Abwab. وَأَمْسَكْنَا مَا بَنِي. And then in these, he's brought people from outside to settle in it, but he uses a very strange word in his book, مِنْ جُنْدُهُ قَوْمًا سَمَّاهُمْ السَّيَاجِيِّينَ. And he settled people in this region who were called Sayajiyin. Well, Sayajiyin, Sayabjah, and Sayabjah, they do not have the same origin, but historians are a little bit split on this. Are these the kind of people that were brought originally, or these are the kind of people that eventually moved into this region? So, as I told you, that these people split into different professions, into guards, security guards, became a part of the Persian army, and also they were to be found in the pirates' position. And so, in the old Persian Empire, these Sayabjah would be found in different places, scattered all over the Persian Empire. But it is, we cannot necessarily say that these are people from Africa. These are people from Indian subcontinent region, but these are dark-skinned people. And how did they made their way into Arabia? So, as I told you, that they were mainly settled in the coastal line area, and over the period of time, they made their way into Basra as it became part of the Islamic Empire. But prior to that, their main settlements were near Basra. There was Abla, and of course Bahrain and Qatar, and those kind of region. They were extremely, they were found in those regions. And of course, we talked about that there were Jat or Zut in the Basra, and Sayabjah is also mentioned in Balazari, that Asawara, when were joined by their own people, was Sayabjah, and Sayabjah were also there. وَكَانُوا قَبْلَ الْإِسْلَامِ بِالسَّوَاحِلِ. And they were living by the coastal regions before the coming of the Islam. وَكَذَلِكَ زُطُّ. And Zut were also among them. وَكَانُوا بِالطَّفُوفِ يَتَّبِعُونَ الْكِلَى. And they moved from places to places on the coastal line, looking for food for their animals. So this is the take of Balazari on this one. And also, as I told you last time, when Hatam bin Dabi'a, he was among those people who were leading people to follow the fake prophets after the Prophet ﷺ during the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. So he reached the people of Zut and he recruited them to fight against the Muslims. So hatta nazalaha. And then he reached the place where he found the Sayabjah, and he also recruited them from the place of Qatif and Hajar. حتى نزلها لقطيف وهجر. So at that point, he also recruited these people to fight against the Muslim army. And of course, the same details as I told you last time apply over here as well. So Sayabjah came into the Persian forces, as written by several historians, and Balazari also writes it, that it was not just the Sayabjah. وَأَمَّا السَّيَابَجَةُ وَالزُّتُّ وَالْإِنْدَرْغَارِ. So Sayabjah, Zut, and Indarghar were part of the Persian forces. But over the period of time, they were actually prisoners of war that were gathered from different parts and were brought and made their way into the Persian. Now, Indarghar are people not from the Sindh region. These are the people from the Sajistan, Kirman region, which is north of the northern areas of the modern-day Iran. So Sayabjah also had some influence in the Arabic literature, that you would find references of Sayabjah even in the Arabic poetry. For example, Yazid bin Madra al-Humyari writes in وَالطَّمَاطِم مِنْ سَيَابِجُ حِزْرٍ يَلْبِسُونِ مَعَ الصَّبَاحِ الْقِيُودَ. And then also Himyan, which is another Arab poet, he writes لَوْ لَقَى الْفِيلُ بِأَرْضِ سَيَابِجَ لُدِقَ مِنْهُ الْعُنُقُ وَالدَّوَارِجَ. That if the elephants would have gone into the regions of Sayabjah, they would have broken them up. So basically the idea is that these are strong people with extreme might. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about, that how did Sayabjah reacted during the times of Islam. Well, there is no historical evidence of the accepting Islam at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. However, during the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, when the city of Basra was established, as Zut were brought over here, so were Sayabjah were brought over here, and Abu Musa Ash'ari, as he brought the Asawira from Persia after the conquest of Persia and made them settled in Basra, these Asawira people, who were actually also from the Hind Sindh region, they came into the region or the neighborhoods where the Zut and the Sayabjah were already settled, or some other Asawiras were also settled, and they merged into those neighborhoods. So over the period of time, their numbers grew. Asawira and Sayabjah and Zut, their numbers grew. So Arab tribes started pulling them towards each other, because with that tribal agreements, these tribes would strengthen themselves. So as a result, what happened, that Asawira signed an agreement with the tribe of Bani Sa'ad, and Zut and Sayabjah went on the side of Banu Hunzala. But for most of the time, these guys would stay out of politics. However, after accepting Islam, they played a very vital role in the Muslim army, fighting against the disbelievers. However, at the time of Ali radiallahu anhu, something happened. And I want to talk about that. We're going to be ending our today's lecture here on this point. There's still a lot of information I want to talk to you about. Ahamira, for example. I want to talk about the Takakira with you guys, and also some of the other people from Sindh and Hind that we have not yet talked about. But what happened with Sayabjah at the time of Ali radiallahu anhu, that there was this treasury house, the Bayt al-Mal, in Basra, which was guarded by the Sayabjahs. As I told you, they were hired so that they become the guards. So it was guarded by, some historians say 40, some historians say 400 Sayabjah were responsible for taking care of the treasury. Ali radiallahu anhu sent Uthman bin Hunayf Ansari to take charge of the Bayt al-Mal of Basra. So when he reached Basra, these guards refused to hand over the treasury over to Uthman bin Hunayf Ansari. And they said, we will only hand it over to Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu and nobody else. As a result, things escalated, and before the dawn, all of them were killed. All before the dawn. And their leader at that time was a man by the name of Abu Salma Zuti. He was from the people of Zut. He wasn't from the Sayabjah, but he was their officer at that time, an extremely pious person, as righteous person, and very well-mannered, well-disciplined person, as comes in the books of history. So these people died. Now, during the time of Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he took a lot of these people of Zut, which are called Jat in the local language, not in Arabic, because we do not have the T pronunciation in Arabic. So these Zut people and Sayabjah people in massive numbers were asked to leave Basra and do a mass immigration into Syria, as a Syrian province of Islamic Empire, and Antakya, and they were asked to settle by the coastal lines, and they immigrated to these regions. So that's what Allama Balazari talks about them in great detail in Umra' al-Asawira wa Zut. So inshallah, in the next part, we'll talk more about some of the other people from the Hind and the Sindh region as they came and settled in pre-Islamic Arabian Peninsula. I hope you guys are learning from this, and please let me know in the comment section below how this is helping you guys understand the people in the pre-Islamic Arabian Peninsula. We'll talk more about some more people. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss out on these beautiful videos that we are putting together just for you.